So let's discuss about palatine tonsil. Okay. So we will discuss anatomy, arterial supply of palatine tonsil. Okay. Okay. So let's first of all orient this picture. Orient yourself. So this is posterior side. Imagine your mouth, and this is posterior side. This is anterior side, and this is lateral side, and this is medial side. Okay. And this is the palatine tonsil. Okay. This occupies the tonsillar sinus or fossa between the palatoglossal and palatopharyngeal arches. Okay, so you are seeing this palatopharyngeal and palatoglossal arches. Palatoglossal arch is anteriorly and palatopharyngeal arch is posteriorly. Okay, and this tonsil has two surfaces: medial surface, lateral surface. Okay, two borders, anterior, posterior, and two poles, upper pole and lower pole. Okay, and this medial surface is covered by a stratified squamous epithelium continuous with that of mouth. Okay, and the lateral surface is covered by a sheet of fascia which forms the hemicapsule of the tonsil. Okay, you are seeing this hemicapsule of the tonsil here. Okay, the capsule is an extension of the pharyngobasilar fascia. Okay, you are seeing this pharyngobasilar fascia, this green color. So this capsule is the extension of this pharyngobasilar fascia. It is only loosely attached to the muscular wall of the pharynx, formed here by superior constrictor and by styloglossous. Okay, formed by superior constrictor and styloglossous. Here you can see the superior constrictor. Okay, this muscle is superior constrictor. Okay, so it is only loosely attached to the muscular wall of the pharynx, formed here by the superior constrictor and by the styloglossous, but antero-inferiorly the capsule is firmly adherent to the side of the tongue. Okay, but antero-inferiorly, okay, but antero-inferiorly the capsule is firmly adherent to the side of the tongue with suspensory ligament of the tonsil, just in front of insertion of palatoglossous and palatopharyngeus muscle. Okay, this firm attachment keeps the tonsil in place during swallowing, and the tonsillar artery enters the tonsil by piercing superior constrictor just behind the firm attachment. Okay, so let me see whether I have picture. Yes, this you can see here the picture, and you can orient yourself. This is lateral side. I hope you are seeing this picture. Okay, so this is lateral side and this is medial side, this is superior side and this is inferior side. Okay, this is inferior side, this is tongue. Okay, and you can see here superior constrictor, here buccopharyngeal fascia, here pharyngobasilar fascia. Okay, so the tonsillar artery enters the tonsil. Here is tonsil, and enters the tonsil by piercing the superior constrictor. By piercing the superior constrictor. Okay. After piercing superior constrictor muscle, the tonsillar artery reaches tonsil. Here it is superior constrictor. Okay. So you are seeing this facial artery. It pierces it and then reaches tonsil. The palatine vein or external palatine or paratonsillar vein descend from palate in the loose areolar tissue on the lateral surface of capsule. Here you are seeing paratonsillar vein. The palatine vein or external palatine or paratonsillar vein descend from the palate in the loose areolar tissue on the lateral surface of capsule and crosses the tonsil before piercing the wall of pharynx. And crosses the tonsil before piercing the wall of the pharynx. Okay, the vein may be injured during removal of the tonsil. Okay, and regarding bed of tonsil, let's discuss what forms the bed of tonsil. Okay, so I already told you pharyngobasilar fascia. This is pinkish color is pharyngobasilar fascia. Okay, Pharyngobasilar, not pinkish color. This pinkish color is mucous membrane actually. Yes, this greenish color is pharyngobasilar fascia. Yes, it is pharyngobasilar fascia. Then superior constrictor muscle. This muscle is superior constrictor, and palatopharyngeus muscle. You can see here palatopharyngeus muscle. Palatopharyngeus muscle, and then it is buccopharyngeal fascia. Buccopharyngeal fascia. In the lower part, styloglossus. In the lower part, the base is also formed by styloglossus and glossopharyngeal nerve as well. Here it is not shown. Let me check whether I have another picture showing that or not. Actually, I don't have. So, in the lower part, styloglossus and glossopharyngeal nerve also forms the base of palatine tonsil. Still more laterally, there are facial artery. You can see facial artery with tonsillar and ascending palatine branches. These are ascending palatine and tonsillar branches. The internal carotid artery is 2.5 cm posterolateral to the tonsil. 2.5 cm posterolateral to the tonsil. Okay. The anterior border is related to palatoglossal arch. Okay. The posterior border is related to palatopharyngeal arch with its muscle. The upper pole is related to soft palate and the lower pole to the tongue. And plica triangularis is a triangular vestigial fold of mucous membrane covering the antero-inferior part of the tonsil. So plica triangularis is a triangular vestigial fold of mucous membrane. It is a mucous membrane and covers the antero-inferior part of the tonsil. Okay, and plica semilunaris. Plica semilunaris is a similar semilunar fold that may cross the upper part of the tonsillar sinus. Okay, intratonsillar cleft is the largest crypt of the tonsil. Intratonsillar cleft is the largest crypt of the tonsil. Okay, so you can see the largest cleft of the tonsil. Okay, and there are many 12 to 15 crypts. Okay, you can see here it is sometimes wrongly named the supratonsillar fossa. This intratonsillar cleft sometimes is wrongly named supratonsillar fossa. Here it is. Okay, and the mouth of cleft is semilunar in shape and parallel to the dorsum of the tongue. Okay, it represents the internal opening of the second pharyngeal pouch. A peritonsillar abscess often begins in this cleft. Okay, and let's discuss about arterial supply of the tonsil. Here you can see, orient yourself. Here also same thing is shown, suspensory ligament of the tonsil. I already previously told you about this ligament, suspensory ligament. It is fixed with this suspensory ligament of tonsil, and here it is paratonsillar vein, and here you can see submandibular gland. Okay, and now we are going to discuss about this arterial supply. Okay. So you can see the main source is tonsillar branch of facial artery. You can see the facial artery. This is the main source. Okay, main source of blood supply, and additional sources are ascending palatine branch of facial artery, ascending palatine branch of facial artery, dorsal lingual branches of lingual artery. You can see this is lingual artery and dorsal lingual branches of lingual artery, and ascending pharyngeal branch of external carotid artery, ascending pharyngeal branch of external carotid artery. Okay, here you can see this is ascending pharyngeal branch of external carotid artery. Okay, and the greater palatine branch of maxillary artery. Okay, you can see here this is maxillary artery and greater palatine. So main, you have to remember this, the main source is tonsillar branch of facial artery. Remember, facial artery, tonsillar branch of facial artery. And regarding venous drainage, one or more veins leave the lower part of the deep surface of the tonsil, pierce the superior constrictor and join the palatine, pharyngeal or facial vein. And regarding lymphatics, it passes to jugulodigastric nodes, jugulodigastric, and there are no afferent lymphatics to the tonsils. And regarding nerve supply, glossopharyngeal and lesser palatine nerves. You have to remember glossopharyngeal and lesser palatine nerves. Okay.